I'm JP Tuesday.
And I'm Kiki Canon. We've been Disney fans our entire lives. And now, as childless adults, we're undertaking a journey through the media that shaped our lives.
Trying to find out if what made them special is still there.
We are Rewatching the Magic.
Hi, Kiki.
Hi, Tuesday.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Okay.
Happy New Year, Bowie. That is Kiki's dog Bowie in the background.
Oh.
So, 2019. What a year we've had. We've had the Disney Corporation expanding even further than it already has, slowly becoming the rulers of the world. All hail the rodent.
We will fondly look back at a time when the mouse didn't own everything.
All hail the rodent overlord. All hail the rodent overlord.
Oh.
So this is our 2019 year in review. We're not really talking about specific. We're talking about as much as we can, at least that kind of get a good interest going. So, what did you think of the year that was in terms of Disney?
I think Disney had an amazing corporate year. I'm not sure I agree with some of it on a more kind of personal, political, and ethical level. But as far as from the Disney point of view, I think they would have called this a banner year.
Yep.
Should we start with the biggest change?
Yeah, Disney acquires a lot of stuff. Disney expands. Disney bought Fox. The merger of Fox and Disney was finalized earlier this year, back in March.
Yeah, and this was a thing that has been in the works for quite a while. I mean, this was not a slow-moving deal.
No, this was talked about as far back as 2017. Fox wanted to sell. They wanted out of the entertainment business. They were done. They were just going to focus on their news, possibly their sports, because I heard that the sports was also under consideration for being sold. So they were going to get out of the entertainment business, just focus on news, and eventually just focus on sports. And a lot of people became, who was going to buy these assets of Fox? And the big front runner was Disney. Now, I can see a lot of people that were against that. A lot of people were against Disney buying Fox, mostly because they had already, at the time, they bought Lucasfilm, they bought Pixar, they bought Marvel, and it kind of started the joke of Disney buying everything. What's the next thing Disney's going to buy? Disney's going to own everything. It's a monopoly. It's this, that, and the other. And it's like Fox wanted to sell. This was not a corporate takeover. This was not a hustle. Fox wanted out, and Disney wanted to buy. There was also talk of Comcast buying Fox, which more people were in favor of, simply because they didn't want Disney to own everything. And Comcast is no mom and pop company. They own Universal. Yeah. They own NBC. They're just as big as Disney in terms of how big their entertainment value is. Again, even in terms of films, television, and theme parks.
Yeah, and I mean it's an unfortunate thing right now that like 4 companies own literally all of mass entertainment.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can change that in the near future, but right now that's where we're at.
Yeah, so kudos to Comcast. They were fighting until the last minute trying to outbid Disney, selling stocks, doing every little bit that they could to match Disney's offer, and they really couldn't.
I was actually surprised at how much this was not a done deal until the papers were signed. Yeah. I mean, Comcast really fought to the wire. So, yeah. But
even when it looked like, even when everyone was saying, yeah, Disney's got it, Comcast was still saying, hey, we can pull some stuff. We can get the money. We can match the offer. But I don't even think it was even the offer. It was like Fox saw Disney as like, this is the best bet to keep this entertainment going. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, there are some things. I mean, it's definitely better for parts of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's kind of the obvious one.
Even if Comcast had bought Fox, the Marvel contracts would have still reverted back to Disney anyway. But it was it's still nice.
Are we sure on that? Because I had not heard that was really a done deal. There was talk about Universal or whatever trying to keep that if the merger went through on Comcast's side.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, now you have all of Marvel under one umbrella again.
Not all of it.
Not all of it. I mean, there's still
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is still a shared property between Disney and Sony.
Actually, Spider-Man is not a shared property between Disney and Sony. Spider-Man in the film version is still entirely Sony, with the exception of the deals that they have come to share a couple of things. So I think people are kind of, that's what happened with the kerfuffle there when it looked like there might be a split between Disney and Sony, and people were like, oh no, this is gonna mean that Spider-Man is never made again, and it really wouldn't have changed Spider-Man that much. Like, everybody calm down. I am almost entirely certain that Disney started that internet crazy train of like, oh no, this is going to ruin Spider-Man forever, and Tom Holland's going to be fired, and they're never going to make another Spider-Man movie, and all that. That was never going to happen.
Yeah, Sony was going to make another Spider-Man movie with or without Disney. They have the movie
and it was going to have Tom Holland, and it was going to have almost the entire same cast. The only thing was that they wouldn't have been able to have like Happy Hogan in there again, and they wouldn't have really been able to
Nick Fury and all them,
Yeah, Nick Fury couldn't have shown up, and they really couldn't have made a plot point that really revolved around whatever was going on in the MCU at the time.
Yeah.
So it would have been a more kind of solo Spider-Man kind of outing, but it would have still happened.
There were people who were actually for that. They didn't like the idea of Spider-Man, all these Spider-Man movies having so much references to the MCU, or essentially turning Spider-Man into Tony Stark Jr., which I understand.
I mean, I'm willing to listen to debate on the general plot threads of the film, but I gotta say, seeing what was the first film in the series? Homecoming?
Yeah, Homecoming.
So yeah, seeing Homecoming in the theater, and it got done, and the friend I was with turned around, and there were like tears in my eyes, and he was like, what happened? And I was like, I finally saw a good Spider-Man movie, and I never thought that was going to happen. Don't at me, all the other Spider-Man movies were garbage. You know it. I know it. So yeah, I was really happy that they finally got Spider-Man right. I hope one day it will happen with X-Men. But I was super thrilled. So I'm for Disney having a hand in it and giving Sony ideas and helping shape it. But I don't know. It's one of those things that I am wary of Disney becoming, the ooze that eats everything.
You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Join Disney.
Yeah.
But I did like it because you had, really for the first time, Spider-Man acting like an actual teenager.
Yeah. I always say that Tobey Maguire was a really good Peter Parker, but he was a very bad Spider-Man. he didn't have the kind of witty delivery and the kind of swagger that Spider-Man puts on. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, was an amazing Spider-Man and absolutely sucked as Peter Parker.
I agree on both counts.
He did not get that like goofy nerd kid.
He was too cool. He
was way too cool for the Peter Parker persona.
Peter Parker would be skateboarding in school.
But Tom Holland really nails both parts.
Yeah.
Because they finally got that, while we, the reader, think that Spidey's humor is really funny and cool and witty and stuff, the people in the universe don't really. So the fact that he'll crack a joke and then it'll be like, no laughter from the villains, and then he'll be like, oh, tough room, that is way more my idea of Spider-Man and his humor.
Because he's a kid in a room full of adults, so what a kid would find funny, an adult not necessarily would find that funny.
And also he's doing it as a form of stress relief. I mean, everyone knows that person or is that person that has to crack jokes in the uncomfortable situation because you don't know what to do. And it's always been a sort of gallows humor kind of feel, I think, in the comics, is that, this is an incredibly dangerous situation and he is a teenager and maybe this, isn't really the place for him, but he cracks these jokes to like keep himself sane through it. And I think that they finally got that balance, which is great.
Yep. So let's also talk that now Disney has the complete control, in a way, of the entire Star Wars universe. Because Fox had that distribution rights to the original trilogy. Now that he bought Fox, all of that goes to Disney. I'm still hoping that one day we'll get the original versions released again. I'm not holding my breath over it.
McClunky.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Is like, Disney changed Star Wars. Like, no.
They didn't change. That was a pre-existing cut from the Lucas archives. I don't know why Disney chose to put that version on Disney Plus.
I'm guessing that's the highest quality version that they have, and they wanted to have the best visual quality possible.
Yeah, because it wasn't
this was the 4K restoration that was supposed to be for a 3D release that never happened. Lucasfilm, George Lucas, he re-released Episode 1, Phantom Menace, to 3D, and really didn't go over well. Because he decided to start with Episode 1 instead of Episode 4.
Yeah. That was when Lucas was still trying to get us to pretend like Episode 1 wasn't hot garbage.
Yeah, so he wanted to release the original trilogy. He wanted to release all 6 movies in 3D. And kudos to him for trying. I was
actually down for that idea at the time. When he was like, I'm going to release all 6 movies in 3D, I was like, okay, I am super down for like 4.5 of these.
And, Episode 1 didn't do so well, so the entire project got cut. 2 and 3, I believe, were, and I believe they were shown at one of the Star Wars Celebration conventions.
Yeah.
And 4, 5, and 6, while restored, never got that 3D treatment. And those are the versions we're seeing on Disney Plus, for better or for worse. McClunky, yeah. So, and now you have all of these movies, and even expands Disney's library of family films, as you can see on Disney Plus. Kind of going through it myself. Even their holiday movies, you have Home Alone, which is a Fox movie. Yep.
The first movie I ever saw in any sort of theater.
Yep.
And it is now a Disney property.
Yep. You have all of these, now they expand into other things. You have other assets at their disposal. Again, for better or worse, it's working. It kind of works for Disney. It makes Disney more money, which they will like. I think that's really all we could say about the merger that we can say without getting heavily in trouble.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go through the movies, or do you want to go through other things before we hit the movies?
Let's go ahead and get to the movies.
All right, since now we have Fox under the banner, we have January, we had the release of Glass through Fox.
Which I didn't see because I don't care about M. Night Shyamalan. I've disliked him since the beginning. Don't at me. I've never liked him.
And it was a sequel to two completely different movies. Trying to turn a trilogy out of two completely unrelated movies.
Well, they had already set it up. This wasn't out of nowhere. By the time they released Split was absolutely meant to be a sequel to Unbreakable. It was planned that way. It was meant to be the second part of a 3-part, at least, series. So Glass actually makes more sense than Split did in that thing. But Split was based on a truly awful and ableist sense, and also Unbreakable as well. I mean, the character of Mr. Glass was always kind of weird and ableist. Like, can we please stop saying that people become villains because of their disability? Because not true. So yeah. Not a thing I was interested in, and it kind of bombed hardcore when it came out.
Let's go with on our list here, Captain Marvel. I love that movie. Well, I didn't love. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's not like
it's not the best
favorite of the MCU movies. Yeah, but it was really awesome, and it gives me hope that maybe now that Carol Danvers is in the film, now that more people know who Captain Marvel is, that maybe one day we will get Rogue from the X-Men done properly, which is all I want in life. Like, really, honestly, if you gave me like a properly done film version of Rogue.
You want to see Carol Danvers get her soul sucked from her body and we get Rogue proper.
Not her soul, just her memories. She still had her soul.
You want a comatose Brie Larson.
For like 2 movies, and then, Patrick Stewart shows up and brings her back.
Yeah, let's keep Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Patrick Stewart was like the best thing in the X-Men movies. Seriously. Yeah.
So
Captain Marvel was great, mostly because I think what they did with Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that was like a really great character piece for Nick Fury.
Showing a young Nick Fury with, the CGI.
Oh my god, that was creepy how good that was.
Making not only Sam Jackson or Nick Fury look young, but he has to have a young Coulson.
Yeah, and I love me some Coulson. I mean, you throw Coulson in anything, I will show. I need like a 4-movie series that's just Coulson, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was not enough.
Yeah, so it's not listed on the list you gave me, so I'm going to the Wikipedia here. Not technically a Fox movie, but was distributed by Fox, was Funimation's Dragon Ball Super Broly. I know you're not a Dragon Ball fan. I am. I like the film. Not the greatest, but I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Not listed in here either, but it is a Fox movie, Alita Battle Angel.
Okay, that one I did see. Yeah.
I want a sequel to that so bad.
Well, I need a sequel because I want to see the other half of the story that they didn't bother to film.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but unless you're doing something like unless you got something like Star Wars where there's no way that the sequel movies aren't getting made. Mm-hmm. Once you start filming Episode 7, there's no way 9 aren't getting made because it's Star Wars. Mm-hmm. If you're doing something like Lord of the Rings or the final 2 Matrix movies where you're filming it all at the same time, okay. But if you're gonna do like, let's do the first movie and hope that it's liked enough for a series, never do that. Never do that. Make a single contained film that could then spin off into a series.
And this had some production issue because this got delayed. Like, this was supposed to come out 6 months to a year before it did.
I was really getting into the story, and then the credits started to roll.
Yeah.
Like, I had finally gotten sucked into the story in the third act. I was like, okay, this thing is moving now. Let's get us into Act 3, and oh crap, that's the credits.
Yeah.
And we'll probably never see a sequel to that because that first movie wasn't good enough as a standalone. I mean, I would really like to see the end of that movie. That last, 20 minutes was great.
I will say that they spent too much of the movie clearly setting up stuff for sequels that they had no plan on making a sequel to.
Yeah. Make a standalone movie. Dear filmmakers, make a standalone movie, give it some kind of resolution. It's okay to leave a few things open for sequel bait, but unless you're Star Wars or filming it all at once with an already planned distribution deal and the money's already there, please do not do those stupid cliffhanger films. I hate them so much.
Not everything needs to be a franchise. And this is, yes, we're saying this about Disney and stuff. Not everything needs to be a franchise.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a lot of franchises this year.
So many.
Lots of wannabe franchises, I should say.
Yeah.
Movies that were meant to start franchises. Dumbo, the remake with Tim Burton. I did not see it.
I did not see it. And honestly, I have no interest in this. We'll probably talk about this when we get to Dumbo. My interest in Dumbo as a kid was the song Baby Mine.
Yeah.
That song is amazing, and I love it. I sing it to my dog all the time. It is beautiful and wonderful. I don't care about anything else from Dumbo.
Documentary. Avengers Endgame. Let's just get to that one. Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
The culmination of 10 years of Marvel stories. And it was definitely worth it to me. I saw this thing in the movie 3 times, and I've never seen a movie in theaters more than once.
Seriously?
Yeah,
You've never seen a movie in a theater more than once? Until this?
The movie has to be really special. I've only seen a handful. I've seen Wonder Woman twice. I saw Revenge of the Sith twice. And I think that's all I can remember.
Oh, man. I will go see almost any movie more than once, no matter how awful it is, so long as somebody else is paying.
Well, okay.
I don't care how much I hate a movie, but if you're paying, okay, I will go sit through any movie with you.
I did see one more movie twice in the theater, and that was the remake of Star Trek, because I remember seeing it once by myself and once when you were living here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because we did go see that movie together once.
Yeah.
For another project that never happened. There's a lot of projects we work on that never happen. But yeah, Avengers Endgame Avengers Endgame really works if you are at least familiar in some capacity with the other movies. Because this, in a Back to the Future 2 way, going back into the other movies. If this is your first exposure to the MCU, you will be completely lost. Yeah, and a lot of people were complaining about that. It's like, well, this is a sequel to 10 years of movies. If you ain't seen the other ones, it's not my problem.
You know, I am going to bring up a little nitpick I have about that. And this is a very unpopular opinion. I know it. People have gotten on me before, and you know what? They're wrong. Back in the kind of golden age of comics that we think of, Golden Age and Silver Age comics, pretty much up until like the 80s, were any comic could be somebody's first comics. Yes, they had to greater or lesser degree had some form of continuity, at least in the large stuff. And sometimes you would get footnotes at, we last saw this character in The Amazing Spider-Man number 23. You know, okay. But they understood that most people, not everything is for everybody. And I do wish that the MCU sort of understood that a little more. And I think Endgame kind of pushed it to the limits of what I'm willing to put up with from that. Um, you know, some people might super be into, going to see Black Panther, but Doctor Strange is not their thing. And I kind of hate that you really needed to see both to fully understand Endgame. Not hate necessarily, because I did see them all, and for the most part, I liked them all to greater or lesser extent. But what they're talking about right now with the future of the MCU, and especially now that Disney Plus exists, is that they're saying that for future MCU movies, and we're talking about theatrical releases now, that they're going to have expected that audiences have not only seen all previous MCU movies, which is already a huge ask with how big it's gotten, but also all of the Disney Plus Marvel series. And there's already like 6 of those in the works. And I am a huge Marvel fan. I mean, Marvel has always been my jam, but even I don't want to see some of those.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people, kind of not really big on WandaVision is one of the things people have been saying they're not really interested in it.
WandaVision lost me at the title. When it sounds like a 5-year-old thought your title was a hilarious pun, you have lost me.
But now you kind of have to see it because it's going to lead into the new Doctor Strange movie and all that.
Yeah, and I don't want to deal with that. I mean, I really don't. Like, who's got time for that? Yeah. I already have a hard enough time keeping up with the things that are out there already. These things are not aimed at small children. These things are being more and more aimed at an adult audience. And adults got work and maybe like college and maybe kids and probably 6 jobs and maybe they got family members they got to take care of. Yeah, who knows? But like even the two of us who do a podcast about this thing now.
Yeah.
Even we do not have the time to be as completely up to date on everything.
Granted, most of the stuff we're going to talk. Yeah, most of the stuff we're going to talk about, our answer is going to be we didn't see it because we don't have the time.
Yeah, and honestly, now to see a movie in theater, I have to travel an hour to a different town. So it's one of those things of I don't get to see anything on opening night anymore. It's like an entire road trip excursion plan to go. If I want to see a 2-hour movie, that's like 6 hours of my day, including driving time and getting down there. And so
it's a commitment.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment for me to see anything in theaters anymore, which I hate because I absolutely seeing a movie in theaters is one of my favorite things to do in life.
So to keep it on a big
Endgame, it was good.
Endgame was good. Endgame, it's a nice culmination of the 10 years of story. And again, I'm looking forward to what they're doing for the next phase. Skipping down here, Tolkien, the biopic that Fox made about J.R.R. Tolkien. I did not see it, but I've heard that the family was not very much on board for this film.
Yeah, I did not hear very excellent things, which is kind of sad because I would have liked to have seen it.
Based on the trailer, it seemed that they wanted to have there was a parody movie a long time ago called George Lucas in Love, where it had all of George Lucas's life with references to Star Wars. That felt like from based on the trailer alone, what they were doing with Tolkien. Like all references in his life somehow tying back to Lord of the Rings, but now played completely straight instead of as a parody.
Yeah, I mean, even the original Shakespeare in Love was like half comedy. It didn't take itself too seriously. But this seemed like that idea just done like deadly seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my to watch eventually if I have enough spare time, but it wasn't anything that I was like really heading out to see.
All right, let's move on to Aladdin, the remake. I saw it. I know you did not.
No, I did not.
That is going to be on Disney Plus starting in January. So January 8th they've announced. So if you have a few hours to spare, just throw it on there. I liked it. It's not. My opinion on the Disney remakes are they're okay. They're not really ruining anything for me because I have the originals to watch. But it was fine. It wasn't amazing, awesome. You have to go see it. It's like it's fine.
Yeah, we talked about that more in the Aladdin episode. So
X-Men Dark Phoenix. Ugh.
I did not see it because the second they announced it, that was my reaction. That exact noise.
The second attempt at the Phoenix Saga without actually doing the Phoenix Saga.
Yeah.
Phoenix Saga could be a trilogy in
At
itself.
least they started it in space this time, which is kind of all I could give the film from what I saw in the trailers and the reviews.
And I heard there was so many production problems with this. They had to literally change the entire third act of the movie because of Captain Marvel. Because it pretty much was the third act of Captain Marvel. So they had to refilm the entire third act of this movie.
I would like them to completely fire everyone involved in the making of every single so-called X-Men movie up until this point, with the exception of like Patrick Stewart, if he still wants to be in it. Everybody else, yeet them out the nearest window, and rebuild it with the people from Marvel Studios, please.
Hugh Jackman deserves a nice retirement from the character of Wolverine. He's played it enough times.
Yeah, and honestly, he was fine for what we did. I have absolutely nothing against Hugh Jackman, so don't think that I am saying this. He was a much better Wolverine than I thought he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But he is at the moment a little done with the character, I think. I think that he wants to be done. So I think we should just let him. Patrick Stewart can come back if he wants, but honestly, if you can find somebody that's at least half as good, I'm okay with that too.
My big complaint about Dark Phoenix, Sophie Turner is a good actress, but you need a great actress to carry this kind of movie. That's my only complaint. She's a good actress, but not as the lead character in this kind of a movie.
Yeah. X-Men, please sit.
Toy Story 4, let's move on there. I saw it, I liked it. Did you see it?
I did not see it. I have not seen Toy Story 3 or 4. Sorry. But I have heard nothing but good things. Everybody I know seems to absolutely just love this film.
The only person I've ever heard say anything bad was my brother. But he's admitted he's never really been a fan of the Toy Story movies to begin with.
Just throwing your brother under that bus there.
I know, I will. But but I have heard some people dislike the movie because they felt that they did the character of Woody wrong. Like, I guess the Woody that they remember, the Woody they grew up with the other movies, would not have gone down the path he did in this film. And I disagree, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I like Toy Story 4, not as good as any of the other three, honestly. Good movie. I hope that they're done. We don't need to see any more Toy Story movies. I really don't. I don't want to see any more Toy Story movies. We're done. No more. Please stop.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. Spider-Man: Far From Home, Marvel Studios. It's technically a Sony film, but it was made by Marvel Studios.
Love it. Love it. Loved it. Super loved it. I love how they reworked Mysterio.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was gonna, because for a long time I've always said that I don't care who is playing the body of Mysterio, but that Mysterio's voice should have been Jeffrey Combs. I still kind of hold to that. I'm not a huge Jake Gyllenhaal fan. I'm just not. It's like he's fine, but he's kind of like, I don't know, warm milk. Like, it's okay, but I'm not gonna come home every night going like, oh my god, I need warm milk. Like, it's just nah. Put some hot chocolate in there.
I kind of like Endgame. I did like that they had some nice nods to other Marvel movies.
Yeah, but it still is its own kind of contained movie. I mean, you can still fully understand Mysterio's origin story even if you haven't seen the other movie. Like, they tell you enough about it.
And the flashbacks directly to those movies.
Yeah.
Using the same actors, too. They actually, even the extras, they actually went back and got those actors to come back.
Yeah, it was brilliantly worked in. I love the kind of idea that this guy was always just out of frame.
Yeah.
In all of these movies. It really tied it together. I liked it. I liked the character development for both his friend, who I am forgetting his name right now, I'm sorry, and also the MJ.
Yeah.
I really love the new MJ. I am 100% for her being in everything now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go, oh, that's not my MJ, that's like this. It's like, it's not Mary Jane. This is not Mary Jane Watson. They made it clear. This is not Mary Jane Watson. This is Michelle Jones. Yeah. And
you know what? I am 100% for Michelle Jones. Like, this is, you know, we've seen enough Mary Jane Watson.
We haven't seen enough Gwen Stacy, though.
I could do another Gwen Stacy, yeah.
Especially with the way Sony's doing it with the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those things, like, I don't need to see Uncle Ben die again.
No, we don't.
And can it be a little while before we get another Mary Jane Watson?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I want from Spider-Man right now.
I did like the you know, like you were saying with Ned, Spider-Man's friend, and how he kind of had his own little side story with Betty.
Yeah, I am liking this character. Like, I really love what they did with him in this movie.
All right, so Spider-Man Far From Home, good. Stuber, I did not see it.
I don't even know what that is.
That is a movie starring Dave Bautista as some sort of officer. He kind of gets mixed up in a situation where he has to get an Uber driver, and the Uber driver is strung along on this little mission of his. That's why it's called Stuber. It's an Uber movie. They made a movie about Uber.
Yeah, I do not care. Nothing. I was mildly intrigued by Dave Bautista, and then everything after those two words did not appeal to me at all.
All right, so the Lion King remake, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I don't need a CGI Lion King. The 2D animation was fine. Everything about the Lion King was good.
Kind of what we talked about in the previous episode, where Disney used to re-release their movies every 7 to 10 years, and then they stopped because, 1, competition from other studios, 2, no theater is going to give an old movie a full theatrical re-release, and 3, those re-releases didn't get a lot of tickets sold. So to sell tickets, I guess they felt, let's just remake the old movies and release them again. And I get it. And you're appealing to people's nostalgia. I get it. But from everything that I've been told about this, it is a 1-to-1 remake of the previous movie to just re-release the old movie. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see that kind of 4K version of The Little Mermaid that they put out and then they used for, I don't know if it's 4K, but like an HD version that they used for the musical and stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
I want that. Like, just do that and release it for like a weekend.
Yeah.
Everything's
do a deal with Fathom Events and release it that way.
Yeah, everything's on digital now anyway. Like, just do that.
On the list here, The Art of Racing in the Rain. Did not see that.
Don't care.
Ready or Not. Did not see that.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I. Ad Astra.
I did want to see that, but I haven't been able to yet.
That's the one in space, right?
Yeah, it's like Brad Pitt has to go looking for his missing Tommy Lee Jones father in space somewhere.
Okay, Lucy in the Sky. Did not see that.
That is the one about the crazy astronaut woman that drove across country in.
Oh yeah.
I do want to see that. I heard that it's like a very fictionalized version of that, but I still kind of do want to see that.
Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Did not see that. Wanted to, but I just never got around to it.
Okay, if you're not the type of person that's like, oh my god, I have to watch a thing before I hear any kind of spoilers about it, go watch Andre the Black Nerd's spoiler-tastic review of this. It is the funniest thing in the world. The stuff he talks about that they did in there, you're like, Disney lost its damn mind with this.
The first Maleficent I thought was okay, but it felt like the way I saw the movie, and it felt like Disney really wanted to do an adaptation of Wicked, but couldn't get the rights to it, so they just did Maleficent.
Yeah, and didn't that same guy like write a book about Maleficent too? Like, I think the same guy that wrote Wicked wrote one about Maleficent. There's several of the big what we would consider Disney villains that he's written about.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, is that like they get straight up like Nazi in this movie.
So it's like, pretty much because I thought it was going to be, because when they introduced, people said, Maleficent's finally going to be the villain. It's like, based off the trailer, I don't think so. I think
she's not the villain.
I think Maleficent's going to meet the in-laws, and she's not going to like what the in-laws are about, and I think I'm right.
Yeah, you are totally right. It's basically Maleficent as the leader of the resistance against a fascist genocidal regime.
So we're taking the concept of Shrek and really playing it straight here.
Yeah, it really is like if Lord Farquaad was like, we're
gonna kill off all the fairy tale creatures.
Yeah, there is something akin to a gas chamber in this movie. I'm not kidding you.
I might have to hunt this down because this is sounding really crazy.
It is absolutely bonkerdoodles from what Andre said. I haven't been able to see the movie, but I trust him to be honest in his review, and yeah.
So Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, speaking of Nazis, I desperately need to see this film. It has not come anywhere. When they say coming to a theater near you, they do not mean coming to a theater near Kiki. Nothing comes to a theater near me, ever. So, yeah, I kind of have to wait until there's, like, a streaming or something, or a Redbox for this. But I want to see it, and I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, so, here's a movie I did see. Terminator Dark Fate.
I haven't been able to see it yet, and I am such a Terminator fan. You know what a huge Terminator fan.
Again, you and I saw Terminator Genesis.
No,
yeah.
Terminator Salvation.
Salvation, yeah, we did see it was Salvation. And it was the same day we saw Star Trek.
Yes, it was. A movie which I liked, Terminator Salvation. A lot of people did not like that one, but I thought it was a really good entry into the
fact
Terminator
that we got
genre.
To see the Machine Wars firsthand for the first time made it a very interesting movie.
And one of the, additionally tragic things about Anton Yelchin's death was he was an excellent Kyle Reese, and I would have loved to have seen him continue in that character. And he was super passionate about Terminator as a series and was thrilled to be cast in that role. And the fact that he never got to do but the one movie is absolutely a shame.
So I saw Dark Fate. It was okay. I understand what they're trying to do with it. I know people generally have hated it because SJW feminism is evil, blah 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 blah. Go hate on women some other day.
Yeah, if you're one of those people, please stop listening to our podcast now. We hate you.
Yes. But I generally thought the movie was okay. I'm definitely Terminator out. Like, the franchise needs to die for a good decade and probably rebooted, because I don't think the movie was bad. It's just I feel like they've kind of done everything that they can do with the franchise in terms of present day.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have very strong feelings about Terminator as a franchise. But everything we have ever seen in the Terminator universe is Sarah Connor, John Connor, that story.
Yeah.
But, and it all takes place in LA, basically. I mean, like, all of the Terminator stories take place in Southern California, pretty much, and a little bit Mexico. But, Skynet was a global catastrophe, we are told. Why are we not getting, like, what they're doing with Star Wars now, which is, like, what were all these other characters doing during the main story?
I would love to see that.
Yeah, give me a Terminator movie that's set in New York or England or Australia or something.
Yeah.
I would love to see what people in China did when the Terminators came.
Yeah. Let's refocus the Terminator franchise to someone who's not a Connor.
Yeah, what's the rest of humanity doing?
And they tried to do that in Dark Fate, but Sarah Connor is still a key figure in the story.
Yeah, I want people who have never heard of John Connor or Sarah Connor.
Exactly.
Yeah, do that, and I think the Terminator franchise will get some new blood in it.
But then you have, the nostalgia people who say this is their story, this is that story. The same people who were freaking ruining Star Wars. Like, we can move on. We can tell a story in this world that doesn't revolve around these core characters. Let's try something else. And I think for this franchise to survive, that's what they need to do.
Yeah. And Terminator is such an interesting apocalyptic setting in the first place. You've got a nuclear apocalypse. You've got a robot uprising apocalypse all in the same movie, and then even if, like, maybe there's one area that has beaten the Terminators, they've cleared out the area, set up an EMP field or something, but they still have to deal with nuclear fallout or famine or roving gangs of crazy people. I don't know, but there's a lot to be done in that world that I think that they're missing by focusing on two characters.
Let's refocus the Terminator franchise and make it more like the Fallout games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ford versus Ferrari. Did not see it, but it's interesting.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I like cars, but I don't particularly care for car racing, so I don't care.
Frozen 2. A little bit of a note here. Me and Kiki have talked about Frozen 2 in previous episodes. I did have to edit those out for time, so I guess we can reiterate our thoughts here. I liked the movie. I generally thought it was better than the first movie. My opinion. You did see it.
I did. I liked it. I thought this was peak millennial, and in the best possible way. That is not me trying to throw shade or anything. Like, no, we are millennials. This is fine. This was everything about the tone of this was exactly where I'm at, like, mentally and emotionally right now. Olaf's song was easily the best thing in the movie to me.
I disagree. I think it kind of slowed the movie down too much.
Oh, I loved that song.
But when you have Josh Gad, you use your Josh Gad.
But I think it was a song that appeals equally, just taken as a song. Mm-hmm. We can talk about the flow of the movie and whatever, but just taken as a song, I think it appeals equally to little kids and adults at the same time. Because little kids will see it as a very surface thing. Yes, this will all make sense when I'm older. Older people know everything. Adults know everything. And then, of course, the adults in the audience are really going to get the, horrific irony of the song that nobody knows anything and we're all stumbling around blind.
Yeah.
Everything is awful. It doesn't get better, kids.
I still say Kristoff's song is the best movie, but then I'm a big fan of 80s power ballads.
When you told me, you saw it before I did, and you told me that Kristoff got a song in it. And when you told me that Kristoff got a song in it, I was not expecting, 1991 Bryan Adams. When it started, I was like, was there a drug in my popcorn? What is going on here? I did like it because Jonathan Groff really gives his all to it.
Yeah.
And then for that song to be redone in the credits by, Weezer?
Yeah.
Nothing about any of that sentence makes the slightest sense.
Well, you have the song by Elsa redone by Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, but Brandon Urie is... I don't know. He made some kind of, dark pact with an evil force or something to be everywhere right now. So it doesn't surprise me that dark force would somehow meld with Disney's dark force and end up putting him on a Disney soundtrack.
But like I said, I like Frozen 2. I think it was a good movie. I think, again, personal opinion, I think it was better than the first, but
yeah. No, I loved it. I absolutely loved everything about it, even the stuff that didn't make sense about it to me. I loved.
Yeah. Part of me wants to know, okay, so when's Frozen 3 coming out? Another part is, we can stop here. It doesn't need to be a trilogy. We can stop here.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see more of that story or not. I think this was a fine and laudable ending.
Yeah. A Hidden Light, which I did not see.
Yeah, once again, I don't know.
As of this recording, this movie came out less than a week ago. This gives you an idea of when we're recording this, because the next movie on our list is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and that movie is coming out as we were recording this movie tonight, and we are not going to be able to see it before this episode goes out, as far as we are concerned. Yeah. We thought about recording an add-on to it, but we really don't want to put any spoilers out for people who may not be able to see it until after the holiday.
Yeah, so no spoilers from us.
I like what I've seen in the trailer so far, but that's all I can really say.
Yeah, I'm working very hard to stay away from spoilers, so I've really only seen the trailer. I'm gonna go see it anyway. I have really liked this new trilogy. I really like the characters. I like Rey. I like what we're getting of the older characters coming back. Mm-hmm. I think Kylo Ren is a perfect villain for this point in culture.
He's a perfect millennial villain.
Yeah, he is the perfect villain for that we need right now. And I'm going to be interested to see how they kind of end that.
Yeah, the ending of his story, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see where Rey goes and Poe and Finn and I want Poe and Finn to end up together. They're such perfect, cute, adorable little boyfriends. Okay, but I know it won't happen. I know Disney is not going to be that awesome. So yeah, can't wait. Absolutely jazzed. That may change in the theater. You never know. Yeah. We were also excited about episode 1. But I really don't think this is going to be that.
Yeah, I know this is going to be a very controversial opinion, but I like The Last Jedi.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved The Last Jedi.
That makes us heathens, because we're not supposed to like that or something.
Screw that. I like what I like. I've already said enough controversial opinions on this show.
So yeah, and finally the last movie to be released in the year, Spies in Disguise, which the animated movie where Will Smith is a pigeon.
Yeah, and I told you this before we started recording. When I saw this, I legit thought of the Adult Swim show Mike Tyson Mysteries, where they go around solving mysteries with a pigeon. I'm not sure that's really a thing that Disney wants me thinking in this.
Well,
so.
this was, I mean, this is a Fox film. This was made before Fox was acquired, so it really isn't. But Disney has gone all in on this movie. They've done merchandise for this movie. They did a full-on red carpet premiere at their theater for this movie. So they have some interest in making this movie a success. So 50-50, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
That's all the movie. That's all on the movie front.
Yeah, that was everything on the movie front. Most of the TV stuff we can skip, although I am going to say that we did in S.H.I.E.L.D. this year. I have not seen the final episode.
No. We have one more season of S.H.I.E.L.D. to go.
Oh?
Yes, we have
one. Is
one.
It really? I thought this was the final season.
No.
Oh.
This is
okay.
The season also ended on a cliffhanger, so we are getting at least one more season of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have one more season of S.H.I.E.L.D. to go, and then they are ending the series.
Okay, I have not seen the back half of this season, so I was misinformed. I was not really feeling the first half of the season, to be honest. So I hope it got better in the end.
It was okay.
I guess as far as broadcast TV, was there anything like super amazing from this year, or was it mostly just, things aired a second or third season or something?
More or less. I mean, we got Three Caballeros animated series, but that started overseas. It didn't really come to the States until Disney Plus picked up. There was a live action Kim Possible movie. Which I didn't see. Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a dud on the broadcast television front. However, I guess it's time to talk about our bread and butter for the podcast. The launch of Disney Plus.
Yes, the launch of Disney Plus. That was talked about for a while. Disney Plus launched back in November, and what is your thought on Disney Plus now that we've had it for a little over a month now?
I'm hoping that the next wave of original content is going to be pretty good. I like having kind of quick and easy access. It certainly makes it possible for us to do this podcast, but I like having quick and easy access to most of the Disney catalog. And I really, really, really love. Okay, two things alone were the reason why I decided to subscribe. And honestly, this was before we even started talking about the podcast. My decision to subscribe absolutely came from two factors. One was that they have uploaded pretty much the entire Disney afternoon from when we were kids. So you've got, even if it wasn't under the Disney afternoon logo, but you've got all those Disney cartoons from when we were kids. So we've got Gummy Bears, we've got Gargoyles, we've got Darkwing Duck, we've got Tailspin, we've got the original DuckTales, we've got, all those shows. That, to me, would have been worth the price alone, because we haven't had those for a long time. Some of those, never made it to DVD or any streaming services before now. And the other one was when I saw the first episode of The Mandalorian, I thought this is worth the price.
The Baby Yoda show.
Right there. The Baby Yoda show. It is absolutely 100% the Baby Yoda show.
Which, as of this recording, episode 7 just went up yesterday.
Yeah, which I have seen, but we won't spoil.
No. We should do an episode that we just talk about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, once the season ends, I think we should do like a big overview show. I am loving that show. I think it's perfect. I think it's exactly what Star Wars needs right now. Which is exactly what I said about Terminator. Like, what is literally the rest of everybody doing?
It's a big universe. What is the rest of the universe doing?
Yeah. And I like that while we get hints of previous characters,
mm-hmm.
like, we hear somebody talk about the Hutts on Tatooine, even though they don't reference Jabba specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We hear kind of little bits about previous characters.
The remnants of the Empire and all that.
Yeah, the remnants of the Empire. We get a new IG unit that's, reminiscent of IG-88, but we don't actually have, at the moment, anyone from the original series in this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love.
So, and of course, the obvious one being the Mandalorian armor itself, with the Boba Fett armor and all that.
Well, yeah.
It's Mandalorian armor. I mean, that's what they look like.
Yeah, and I am loving that we're getting more backstory on the Mandalorians, because I haven't watched the cartoon shows.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will now because they're on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I might binge through 1 week or something. But I have not kept up with the animated Star Wars things.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they've released little bits and stuff, but like at the end of Solo, when they showed Darth Maul, my brain was kind of like, but this isn't early enough in the timeline for Darth Maul to be alive. Why would Darth Maul be? Is it a different, character or whatever, And then somebody had to tell me, like, no, they brought him back onto the cartoons and that's considered canon now. And I'm like, oh. See, this is what I was talking about with the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to have to watch 17 shows that I'm not interested in to just, So I like that this show that I am interested in is giving me some backstories on the Mandalorians, which I realized they did in one of the cartoon shows. I don't really care. I want to see it in this.
The big thing for me, the one that got the most laughs out of me, was we finally found out what was in that damn ice cream machine. Because if you watch Empire Strikes Back, there's a guy carrying around an ice cream maker. We don't know why, but we finally found out what was in the thing. And it's the very metal that the Mandalorian Mando makes his armor out of.
Yeah, I'm liking. I think so far, other than Baby Yoda, my favorite character on the series is the blacksmith character that forges all the, like, I don't know who she is, but I want to know everything about her. She is so cool.
And we, so far the show's been great. Again, we're 1 episode left, and based on
really,
what we see,
is that it?
Yeah, 1 more episode. It's only 8 episodes.
I really hate that's the thing we took from British TV.
What, short seasons?
Yeah, it was not like make it good. It was just make it short.
It's Netflix is barely doing 13 episodes for their shows these days.
Yeah, I know. I hate that I'm like just getting my binge on, and then it's like no more episodes for you, and I'm like, but what? No, I sat down for the next 3 days to watch this, and I'm done in like 2 hours.
Yeah, but so far The Mandalorian is probably the best thing of the originals. But I've heard a lot of good things about, like, the One Day at Disney, the documentary stuff.
I've heard One Day at Disney is very good. And actually, I did see the Lady and the Tramp remake.
I have not.
Well, Lady and the Tramp was filmed in Savannah,
Mm-hmm.
and I live very close to Savannah. So we heard kind of everything about it. I had, friends who went to go be extras, and, all that kind of stuff. And so when Disney Plus came out, it was kind of the first thing we queued up in my house because we wanted to see how much of Savannah you can really tell, because sometimes they disguise it very well and sometimes it's very obviously Savannah. This was very obviously Savannah. Literally, the first shot of the movie has a Savannah landmark in it. So if you've ever, if you've spent enough time in Savannah, especially if you've lived in or near Savannah, this is a fascinating film with how they use, during the Bellinotte scene, they go to one of the major parks in Savannah and are constantly around landmarks. So it's very interesting from a local flavor perspective, and also it was kind of a funny movie. Like it was really good. They the cats fortunately are not racist anymore, which are great. But the whole thing was cute. Especially if I had kids, I think I would sit down and show it to them.
Do you think this movie could have done well in theaters, or is it good as a online only movie?
I am not sure that it would have gotten the word of mouth to make it worth the theatrical release. It's a good, solid movie, but it's not like a movie you're gonna go and be like, oh my god, you have to watch this now.
Yeah, see. I mean, I've heard good things about the Imagineering story, which I might have to, after Mandalorian's done, I might just make that my viewing. Funny thing with Forky Asks a Question is actually pretty funny. For like little 3-minute cartoons, they're not bad.
Yeah, I haven't watched that, but yeah.
And again, having my only gripe with Disney Plus, and I think I've told you this off air, is that they have all these movies listed, but not all of these movies are available to watch. You have movies that are coming soon, and I get that because of other streaming commitments. But why are you showing me Adventures in Babysitting when that's not even available to stream until 2021? That makes no sense to me. Don't even have it listed there.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do that as well, because it's a little,
It's I understand that you have other commitments. These movies are on other streaming services. Not just Netflix, but like HBO, Cinemax, and all that stuff. You have these commitments. If it's within 2 or 3 months, I can understand that. But when you're giving me 2 years, that's a little much. But then you have all these movies that then there are movies that are not on here that, as far as I'm aware, are not streaming anywhere. Like you have the Brave Little Toaster sequels, but you don't have the original Brave Little Toaster. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're trying to pull it together with some of these other contracts.
Yeah, and they had the deal. Like a week before Disney Plus launched, there was the announcement that Disney had made a deal with Starz to get all the movies that are on Starz that Disney owns on Disney Plus, with the exchange being that they had to advertise Starz streaming on their website. Which, if you when you sign up for Disney Plus, you get an advertisement for Starz streaming. This is why like Avengers Endgame and Frozen are on Disney Plus, because they made that deal.
Yeah.
Which is a good idea. I wish they were able to make the deal with other streaming services, but I can see why they didn't.
Yeah, I know that everybody's saying like, oh, another streaming service we have to buy, but remember, one day Disney will own everything, and you will only need one streaming service.
Yes. One day Disney will own it all. Disney will own our souls. I think that's all we can say about Disney. So far, I'm enjoying Disney Plus. Definitely enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I like having access to it. I've been going through some of the cartoons. I have the hiccups. I apologize. But yeah, I've been going through like, gargoyles and stuff. So
So I think that's all we can really say on Disney Plus.
yep.
Let's. I know none of us have been there in quite a while, but let's talk a little bit of the theme parks. The big story: Star Wars: Galaxy's Edge opens up the Disney parks.
Well, Disney Park, right? It's only at
Two.
Disneyland.
No, it's at Disneyland and it's at Hollywood Studios in Florida.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware of the Florida one because I do not think I know anybody that's been to the one in Florida since it opened. I know many people who have been to the Disneyland version.
Yeah, I was in Florida back in October. I wanted to go to Disney World. I was outvoted, and we ended up going to Universal Studios.
Oh.
To which, from the pictures I put up there, you were very jealous of.
Yes, I have never been to Universal Studios. I have been to Disney World twice in my life. The last time I was either 11 or 12 years old. I have not been since then. I would desperately love to go back to any Disney park. I really would love to go to Disneyland because I've never been there. And any Universal theme park. I have been to the gates of Universal and stood beside the globe, and that is the closest I have gotten to Universal.
Well, plus we also have friends that live close to Disneyland in California, so we can just easily do that.
Yeah, I also have friends in Orlando, so it's not out of the question for me to go there. But
since I mean, what do you know of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge lands?
I have been told that the general atmosphere is kind of amazing, that they've really worked to make it as immersive as possible. Mm-hmm. And that I have not heard great reviews of the blue milk. Apparently it tastes like drinking cotton candy and not in any sort of good way. Mm. I've heard that it's like overly, like it's something you could only enjoy if you were like 5. Mm. That like a really tiny kid would be like, this is the greatest sugar rush ever, but that anybody else would be like. But I've heard that some of their adult beverages are absolutely amazing. A lot of the merchandise seems really exorbitantly expensive. Like it's like $200 to build a lightsaber and go through the whole kind of.
But they make a show out of it, so at least
they got like a Build-A-Bear kind of thing where like they take you through stuff and they.
Oh, the Build-A-Bear, that's mostly the droid stuff where you build your own droid.
Well, no, I meant in the fact that there's kind of like a ceremony you have to go through to like get your. I don't know. I've never been to Build-A-Bear, so this is just what I hear from people.
But I mean, when you build your lightsaber, you get a performance. You have the cast members there kind of immerse you into it as if you are a force-sensitive person in getting this lightsaber. Which, again, it's a good thing for, I think, both kids and adults because you kind of get yourself immersed into the world of Star Wars.
I would totally love that. Like, I would, if I had but I'm not sure that, like, on my limited salary, I'm $200 into that.
Yeah, same thing for the droid. You get to build your own droid. Yeah, same thing
for the droid. It sounds great, but I don't know.
I've heard good things about the Millennium Falcon ride. They just reopened up the Rise of the Resistance ride, which everyone's saying this is the ride that really makes the land. I've heard people complaining that it's too immersive, in that they don't really use Earth vernacular in referring to things. Like they won't call it a restroom, or they'll call it a refresher. Certain food items have very intergalactic names that common folk, if you're not super immersive into the lore of Star Wars, will get you lost.
Yeah, I one of the cool things is I've heard that like all the signage is in English and then English as written in Orabesh.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to me. When I was a kid, I had a friend when they first released kind of Orabesh through the games. and fully made it like a full alphabet. I knew a kid who took Sharpie and wrote things on his huge Jinko jeans, with the really wide legs that were really popular in the 90s. And he wrote things on it in Arabic and got away with wearing it to school because none of the teachers knew what it was. And he convinced them it was just doodles. And if you knew how to read Arabic, which I did at one time and have sort of forgotten, that was some vile, vile stuff that he got away with wearing. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what a 12-year-old boy would write on his jeans if he could get away with writing anything, and that's exactly what it was.
I do want to keep this podcast PG, so we can't really say that.
Oh, I don't remember anything in specific that he wrote. I just remember that it was all like absolutely the vilest thing.
But I would love to go to one of the Disney parks and go to Galaxy's Edge and experience it for myself. See it with my own eyes, as the phrase goes.
Yeah. If any of our listeners is super rich and wants to fund a podcast episode.
You could be on the podcast and we'll do an entire podcast episode on the Disney parks.
Yeah. No, it looks amazing. I would really, really, really love to go. So I don't know. I've heard great things about the Millennium Falcon ride. I haven't heard too much about Rise of the Resistance because it opened not too long ago, and I don't think any of my friends who work at the parks or have
it opened in Florida like earlier in the month, and it's not opening in California till next month.
Yeah, I really haven't heard anything from any of my friends about having been able to go to that one yet. But I've heard that it's just if you're a Star Wars fan, it's a really cool atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know a lot of people who just kind of like to hang out there.
And of course, you have the haters who are like, "Oh, it's the new trilogy. I want one about the old trilogy." And it's like, get over it, man. Get over it. It's like
I really love that. Apparently, like the cast members will like shush you and stuff if you're heard talking about the Resistance, and because it's supposed to be like under New Order rule.
Yes, it's First Order rule. The Resistance are trying to be undercover, and it's like if there are the people there who are of the Resistance, but they kind of tell you to keep it down because they don't want the First Order to kind of get at them.
Yeah, which I love. I mean, I love that they've got kind of this immersive story thing, which Disney has always tried to do in some respect. Like the costumed characters themselves are always supposed to stay in character, but the just general workers around, yes, I know they're called cast members, don't at me, that's a ridiculous thing. But like the general retail people and stuff, are just allowed to be kind of normal but happy. But apparently in Galaxy's Edge, everybody is in character all the time, which is kind of cool.
Everyone has their own character, their own backstory that they tell, and I think it's really cool that how they got to that world. And I would love to go there and ask, like, why are you letting Terrans on your planet, man? We're the worst.
Yeah. The funny thing is that going back to Mandalorian, the funny thing is in watching The Mandalorian, I don't think I ever realized, even though, Clone Wars and Jango Fett and stuff like that, I don't think I realized that Mandalorians were supposed to be like a, religious ethnic group of humans. Because I was raised more on like Star Trek and stuff and other sci-fi where it's like, even if they look human, they're probably not human. We just ran out of makeup budget.
Yeah.
And I'm still not used to the fact that in Star Wars, if it looks human, it is human. Like, I don't really think of like Luke and Leia and Han and Lando and stuff as human, but they are. according to Star Wars. You know, and so even though they're all from different planets and from different, like, ethnic groups or whatever, they're all meant to be human. Whereas in something like Star Trek, it would be like, well, I know that they look human, but they've got a spot on their forehead, and that means that they're really from, you know, this other species that just looks human.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Mandalorians were technically humans never occurred to me until the recent show.
You want to go move on to 2020 and see what
Yeah,
what
let's
the future has in store?
look ahead a little bit.
January, Underwater, 20th Century Fox. I haven't heard anything about this one.
Yeah, I don't. Oh wait, no, I do. That's the Kristen Stewart. It's Alien, except they're underwater.
Oh.
Like, she's Ripley, and it's something between Alien and the Abyss. It sort of looks like.
That's
so
interesting.
Yeah, it's a horror film.
Call of the Wild. I haven't heard anything about that.
Is that based on the book, I guess?
I don't know.
Yep, based on the Jack London novel, so yeah. That'll be alright if you want stuff made from old books. It's got Harrison Ford in it.
Wendy, which is sort of Peter Pan meets Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I am kind of interested in that one. I think I've already seen some stuff about that. Is that the one where it's about the 3 generations of darling women?
I'm not sure.
That might be a different movie, but I don't know. I'm liking the fact that now that we're finally waking up to the fact that Peter Pan is not really a hero.
Yeah. Well, they kind of make him more of a villain in Once Upon a Time, according to people who've seen the show. I've never seen it, but this is what I've been told.
I watched it, but I think I stopped watching it before he was, like, in there as a villain. I got bored of that show very quickly. Yeah, so I mean, depending on what I see of that, I might be interested.
Onward, or as I call it, Brotherhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah, I was really interested in seeing this movie until it looked like they were gonna lean heavily into the dead parent storyline, which is not a storyline I am fond of at all.
Bringing a parent back from the dead. It's very much, I don't know if you've ever seen the anime Full Metal Alchemist. It reminds me a lot of that.
I have not, but I know a few things about it.
Besides the dog.
Yeah, besides the dog. Yeah, I was much more interested in this film when it was just like a quest movie, and now it's like a quest about our dead dad. I don't know.
The remake of Mulan, which I'm actually really interested in.
I am very interested in that. The what we've gotten of the trailers so far looks good.
I know there are people who are negative on it because it's not the cartoon, and my thing is, if you're going to remake a movie, do something different. If you're just going to remake the original movie again, don't bother. Which is why I didn't really want to see The Lion King.
I find it interesting that they've apparently changed the family name. I don't know if that's more accurate to the original story.
It is more. Okay. It is more accurate to the original poem.
Okay.
To put the name.
Okay.
The New Mutants. I will believe this movie is out when it's out, because this movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah, this has been in development hell for a very long time.
And this is one of those movies where the reshoots were pretty much not scheduled, pretty much because Disney Fox wanted to dump this movie on Disney. Okay, that's my personal opinion on it. They delayed it and delayed and delayed and delayed until this thing was finalized. Now it's Disney's problem.
Yeah, this is also seeming to be like if X-Men had a horror movie.
Yeah.
is what they're wanting to be.
I don't think it'll do very well, but I'm interested to see what they can salvage from this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Black Widow, which I'm definitely interested in seeing.
Yeah. Black Widow. The first trailer looked pretty cool.
I do like that we're finally getting more of a backstory for her. We're getting a look at her family, and we're kind of finding out what happened to her during the different parts of the other movies, because this is supposed to take place after Civil War, but before Infinity War.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So we're going from, but we're between two wars in one of the lands that the Cold War happened in.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. The personal history of David Copperfield. No, not the magician.
I would probably like it more if it was The Magician. I'm not a huge Dickens fan. I really am not, just in general. So I'm assuming that that's a Dickens version there.
Artemis Fowl, which was supposed to come out today.
Was it really? Yeah.
Yeah, but then it got, it was going to get killed by Star Wars. So.
Yeah. Don't put anything up against Star Wars unless it's cats.
Yeah. Soul, Disney Soul, Pixar Soul, which is interesting, but based on the trailer.
Yeah, we don't really know a lot about this one based on the trailer. It's just like
the guy dies and he doesn't want to die.
Does he die, or is it like
he falls out of sewer in the trailer? He falls out of a sewer shaft. He's pretty much dead.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm curious if I know they're not going to do it, but I'm curious how much of the religious aspect is going to be shown in terms of the afterlife.
I don't know. I just saw this movie described by somebody as like Existential Crisis, the Pixar movie.
It's pretty much.
If it's that, I'm kind of down.
Okay, imagine you get offered your dream job. Your dream job is there, but that very day you die.
I'm pretty sure that if I'm ever offered my dream job, that's exactly what's going to happen to me.
Like, you are in an accident and you die, and that's the trailer. So now this soul has to find a way to get back to Earth, back to his body, so he can actually live his life. Free Guy, which I did see the trailer for, Ryan Reynolds. That actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the movie doesn't really lean into the we're all in a video game as the big twist, because they spoiled that right up front in the trailer. I mean, not right up front in the trailer, but about halfway through the trailer, I was like, I'm betting this is a video game. And then about 30 seconds after that, he was like, we're in a video game. And I was like, ooh, I really hope that wasn't like a Shyamalan kind of twist that they were.
I mean, I think that's all in the first act. But honestly, looking at this trailer, it's the GTA movie I always wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great, and it's got Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi. So I'm cool with it. I mean,
here's a movie that I know you're looking forward to, Bob's Burgers, the movie.
Bob's Burgers. Anything Bob's Burgers, I am down for.
You dressed up as one of the characters for Halloween this year.
I've actually dressed up as Louise for 2 Halloweens in the last 5 years. So Louise is one of my kind of go-to cosplays. That I am working on expending. I've got some props that I'm currently in the process of planning before I wear it next time. The Bob's Burgers movie had been delayed a little bit. I really hope it comes out in July like they're saying now. They've also delayed one of the seasons of the TV show, which I am not too happy about, in favor of the movie. But I really want to see Bob's Burgers, the movie. I love anything Bob's Burgers.
The Jungle Cruise, starring The Rock. The trailer looks interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be running to see it, but the movie looks interesting.
I really am not a fan of all of our theme park rides have to have a movie. Because it worked so well for Haunted Mansion.
It really only worked for Pirates, and even then, they've kind of done everything they could really do, unless they start shifting to different characters, like you said before. There might be something.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that Pirates already comes with a cool premise. Mm-hmm. I mean, just walk up to anybody and say the word pirates, and they're already going to be down. Mm-hmm. You know, they're already like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm in, because pirates are cool. Jungle Cruise is not. I mean, really, unless you are the type of person that goes to a Disney park at least once a year, which some people are, I am not. But like, if you've ever been to a Disney park, but you're not like a regular park goer, what do you remember about Jungle Cruise? I'll tell you exactly what you remember about Jungle Cruise. Look, it's the backside of water. And
that was in the trailer.
One dad joke does not a movie make. You know? It's already talking about, like, you know, the Rock is taking scientists down the river in search of a miraculous healing tree or something, and I've already fallen asleep reading that sentence.
The Kingsman prequel.
I will be down for that because I rather like the Kingsman. It's ridiculous and in all of the right ways. So as long as it continues to not take itself too seriously, I think it'll be fine. It's another one that's been delayed, though. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't bode too well.
The Eternals, our second Marvel movie of the year. Don't know much about it, but we'll see what that's about. I mean, I got to see a trailer first.
Yeah, as of this recording, the kind of big movie. The big movie news about this is the pictures of Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
That just came out showing him
jacked.
very jacked. Which I saw those pictures and immediately went, "Oh, they ruined Kumail Nanjiani." Because not my thing.
You don't like men with too much muscle.
Yeah, that is played as a joke in Rocky Horror, but it's honestly my thing. I did not think that Chris Hemsworth was attractive until I saw him in the Ghostbusters movie, and he was like slimmed down and in glasses and a, you know, sweater vest and stuff. I was like, oh, I can see why people think he's cute now. So yeah, my brain is messed up. Don't at me.
So, Raya and the Last Dragon, another Disney animated movie. I haven't heard much about it. Again, we have to see a trailer. That's not coming out for another year, till like around this time next year. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
I mean, I like dragons, so. Mm-hmm.
And the remake of West Side Story. I'm on the fence on this one. You know, the movie musical seems to be making a comeback, especially with In the Heights coming out early next year.
The trailer to that looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah. So who knows? This might be the big return of. I mean, we have Cats, we have In the Heights, we got West Side Story. The big budget movie musical might be making a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this one a stamp of I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. Because I really like Spielberg, and I don't know what he's gonna do with a musical. It takes a very different style of direction. Mm-hmm. In that sense. We'll see what they do with it. Some of the casting choices I like. Ansel Elgort in the lead role as Tony. I like Ansel Elgort. So that'll be interesting. And they've got, you know, a lot of kind of name people as smaller roles in the background. But I'm tentatively interested in that one.
So that's what we look forward to. So of the list, what movies would you say that are on your list of stuff that you're looking forward to?
Definitely Black Widow,
Hmm.
definitely Mulan, Free Guy, Bob's Burgers, Kingsman, West Side Story, unless, something happens.
Hmm.
Those are kind of the big ones for me.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in Onward. I'll see Onward for you and then give you my report on it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to Mulan. If it's going to be more of a kung fu style movie, I'm all for that. Obviously, Black Widow. Uh, I don't know why, but I'm curious about Artemis Fowl, but I don't know how well that's going to do.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about the books, so I don't know. I don't
It
even know
pretty
what it's
much
about.
it was Harry Potter before Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Soul definitely looks interesting. Free Guy definitely looks interesting. I might see Jungle Cruise if I can use my brother, because my brother works at a movie theater and get in to see it for free.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Kingsman movies. I really should do that because I've heard a lot of good things about them.
Yeah, I like them, so.
Mhm. And yeah, I'm very tentative on West Side Story, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually every movie will be Disney anyway, so who knows?
Yeah.
Not much.
In kind of closing here, do we want to go one last thing and talk about some of the people we've lost this year just very quickly?
We have a list.
We do. We had Carol Channing back in January,
Yeah.
great Broadway actress. We had Luke Perry, unfortunately. That was
Yeah.
very, very shocking and quick.
His son is actually a professional wrestler.
I did hear that, yeah.
Yeah. So Jack Perry, who wrestles under the name Jungle Boy.
Huh.
If you're a fan of Luke Perry, definitely look up a wrestler named Jungle Boy, and he's actually pretty good.
Good to know. We lost Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca.
Yeah. Especially now with Star Wars coming up, I would not doubt there is some sort of memorial in the credits for Peter Mayhew. I'd be sad if there wasn't.
Yeah. We lost Tim Conway, brilliant comedic actor. Dr. John, the musician, he was in some Disney stuff there. Rip Torn, another comedic actor. Rutger Hauer, probably best known for Blade Runner, but there we go.
Russie Taylor, the voice of Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, Russie Taylor. We talked about her in our last episode, in passing. She also was on Simpsons. Yeah. She was one of the.
Which they recently had their season premiere in the replacements for Russie Taylor's characters, which 50% on the voice impersonations, I would say.
In August, we lost Peter Fonda. We also lost Valerie Harper. Moving on, we lost Diane Carroll, who was in the Star Wars Christmas special. The only place that you can currently get a legal copy of the Star Wars Christmas special is via rifftracks.com. Did you know that?
That they actually have permission to release that.
They actually have permission to release the video of that with their commentary over it.
How is the video have a high quality?
No, it is very much like they took it from a VHS copy in the 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very bad. I own a copy, but it's as watchable as any bootleg.
Yeah.
But strangely, that is the only way to own that legally. We lost Rip Taylor as well, another comedic actor. And just a couple of days ago, as we are recording this, we lost both Carol Spinney, Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch.
Yep.
And we lost Rene Auberjonois, who we have talked about on the show before, the voice of Chef Louis in Little Mermaid and Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. So, and they're both on the same day.
Yeah, that was a rough day.
That was a rough day. It was.
Yeah. So farewell to everyone we have lost this year. We will miss you, and fortunately, your work lives on in the Disney canon here.
Yep, work that will be enjoyed for generations to come. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Especially if Disney Plus is going to be a thing for generations.
Yeah, and actually, as they hopefully expand it, and we get some of these lost gems.
Yeah, there's a lot of shorts on here that are not. I really wish would be on here eventually. I mentioned in the last one, Scrooge McDuck and Money is not on here. We talked about but the Nightmare one, Vincent, is not on here. There's so many shorts, movies, TV shows. I would love to have like the complete collection of the original Mickey Mouse Club. The 90s Mickey Mouse Club probably will never be on there because of music rights.
Yeah, music rights is always very tricky, but honestly, if anybody could get it done, it would be Disney.
I don't know if they have the rights to the Muppet Show, but I would love to have that on there.
Yeah, Muppet Show is one that everybody wants on there, and Muppets Tonight is another one that the Muppet fandom really wants.
Yeah. Then there's the iffy ones, there's two Muppet movies that are not owned by Disney, that they're owned by Sony. But if Sony and Disney can get together for a deal on Spider-Man, they can get a deal with the Muppets if they really wanted to.
Yeah, that is true, and I hope they would work on that.
Yeah. So we've been almost here for an hour 45 doing this. But I think that's all we can really say on the year that was without, at least as of now, since Star Wars has not come out yet.
Yeah.
So, at least as this recording is going to go out, obviously, in the new year. So, do you want to go to what we're doing next? Or
let's keep that one an interesting surprise.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we're going to keep that on hold. We'll keep that a surprise, and you guys are just going to have to tune in to find out what that is.
But you may want to look at the calendar. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right. So join us for our surprise episode next time. You will not be disappointed. Mm-hmm. And thanks for going on this little journey with us as we've closed out 2019 and head full force into 2020, and hope that we get you many more of these lovely little podcasts. You stay with us and we'll stay with you.
Rewatching the Magic Gear 1, done. Granted, it's only been like 8 episodes. What episode is this again?
6, I think.
6 episodes. Oh, but again, we will continue to do this podcast as long as you are willing to listen to us talk.
Yeah.
And that will continue into 2020. So, from the both of us, we'd like to wish you, the listener, Happy New Year. And hopefully the new year brings you whatever you're looking for.
Happy New Year!
Bye!
Thank you for listening to Rewatching the Magic. We invite you to keep the magic going by joining the conversation online. Find us on Facebook at Rewatching the Magic, on Twitter at Rewatch the Magic, and of course, find all new episodes at rewatchingthemagic.podbean.com. Until next time, remember, the magic is for everyone. It only stops if you let it.